Boo.
I forgot to do something and it's
Uh-oh.
driving me nuts. I have to turn my lights in the basement red or it's just not it's not the right night if they're not red. So, we're just
Oh.
gonna I don't even think you can tell that I turned them red. They still look purple back there because that
Yeah, they
big
look
purple light.
purple. Yeah.
Well, hold on. I can fix that. There's a new light.
Fix it. Fix it. Oh, that's cool.
There's a new light back there, so I had to fix that one too.
Yeah, I like that one. That's cool.
All right. Welcome to Murder Mystery Haunted History. I'm BV3, and this is Nettie from MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless. You can find her link in the description below. We cover a little bit of true crime, a little bit of paranormal, and from time to time I do some gaming. If that sounds interesting to you and you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. It does help to put the channel out there in the algorithm and helps other people to find it. And all of you over in the chat, thank you so much for being returning subscribers. We love you and you know it.
Yep. And by the way, I love your new banner. I noticed that on your channel.
Oh, you noticed
That
it?
is awesome. I love your banner. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
I got approved to be part of the Amazon influencers program. And so
Wow.
I have a storefront now where any of the products I use, like my makeup products or the stuff that I use for my protein coffees or the lights
Mhm.
that I just ordered, when people start asking about that, I can just send you over there and you'll find it very easily. Um,
Sweet.
so I'm super excited about that. And so I
Yeah.
went ahead and made like adjustments to my page
Mhm.
when adding all the new stuff in. So, all right, let's jump over and welcome everyone in the chat. It's already filling up over here. We have Uncle Lisa, who joined me this morning, and we both turned into small dolls while we were playing the game.
I got to go
And
back and see that.
I might have almost peed myself when I turned into a small doll and was looking at Uncle Lisa's shoes. And then we have Hitch Up and Toe. Thanks so much for being here with us. Said very jazzy. Boo. Ozark Pathfinders, hello and welcome in. Thanks for being here. Linda Barker, hello, hello. Tommy Travels, hello. All right. I think that's everybody for now. Today's story is about hackers, right?
Yeah, a little bit different.
A little bit
Yeah.
different than normal, but it's still crime. Hacking is
Mhm.
a crime. So let's get our story up here. And Nettie, you go first.
Okay. The most infamous hackers of all time, brought down by major companies, stole millions of credit card numbers, created viruses, and even did some good along the way. These hackers are the pioneers in the computer hacking world and are some of the best at the sport.
It's considered a sport now to hack. I see. I see. These are the hackers that stole millions of dollars from individuals and companies around the world, shut down military systems, toppled companies' networks, and even provided the first iPhone jailbreak. They may not have intended to do harm, but with their actions, they've become part of an elite group of the most infamous hackers of all time. Plus, they had cool hacker names. Never underestimate a good hacker name. Oh, and stay tuned. At the end of this, we're going to have a small update on Dylan
Mhm.
Rounds. If you all remember, he's the 18-year-old that had his own farm that went missing. We're going to have a little update on him.
Yeah. Sure, many of these hackers spent time in prison for their actions, but nearly as many also came out cleaner and now work to help companies protect against these types of security flaws rather than helping exploit them. that there is a sign of greatness on its own. This list of hackers will answer that question and more. Take a look at the most best hackers of all times and see for yourself.
So it's kind of like that Catch Me If You Can movie where the guy
Yeah,
like changes his identity over and over again, but then in the end, after he goes to jail, he
yeah.
ends up helping the police. RVBFE, hello and welcome. Hey everybody, what the hack is happening?
Right.
Uncle Lisa, please don't. Rally Creative Travel, hello.
Hey.
It's been too long. I guess y'all are following our county here in South Carolina with the Murdoch trial. Glad it's over. We did do a little
Uh,
bit of him last week, but we did not
hmm.
do the update yet about where his trial ended up.
Yeah.
So we have not done that yet. What the heck do you mean? I'm loving this conversation over there.
And that
All
sounds
right.
like Bear. That's Bear and Dawn. And that sounds like Bear that's typing right now on RVBFE.
I'm loving the dad joke. They're cracking me up.
Hmm.
Wait, did we read that one?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
read that one.
we read that one. Jonathan James. Oh, he looks like a cool nerdy dude.
He does, right?
He looks like, he would be nerdy, but he looks like he's dressed himself up to seem like really cool.
Hmm. I'm a cool hacker.
Is this mine to read?
Yeah.
I've already lost track. Good old me losing track. Okay. Also known across the interwebs as Comrade, Jonathan James was the first juvenile convicted and jailed for hacking in the United States. At the age of 15, James hacked into several companies back in 1999, including Bell South, the Miami-Dade school system, and a little organization called the United States Department of Defense. He didn't really mess much up, but did read sensitive information, including the source code that made the International Space Station work. 15.
Jeez.
Genius.
After the intrusion was detected, NASA shut down their computers for 3 weeks to investigate for a loss of 41,000. James was arrested on January 26, 2000, and later plea bargained and was sentenced to house arrest and probation. He violated that probation by failing a drug test and later served 6 months in an Alabama prison.
Okay, now wait just a dang minute. This kid is that smart that he could break in, hack, do all of this, right? Then he
Hmm.
gets house arrest, which is like, whew, good for you, good for you. His parents are probably like, I'm so proud of you, but also you're dumb. Like his
Yeah.
parents are probably like, I don't
Does
know
he
what.
still have access to his computer, while
Yeah.
he's on house arrest?
And then the fact that while he's on house arrest, he still manages to get his hands on drugs. Like what?
Yeah.
He's so smart yet so dumb. They say people that have like book smarts or
Oh,
like
yeah.
computer smarts like this have no common sense, and then people with all
Yeah.
the common sense really don't have book smarts. I, I'm kind of I didn't get either, but I mean, obviously we can tell this guy didn't get the common sense part of things.
Mhm.
Geez, yeah, that trial was everywhere.
Yeah.
The Murdoch trial.
Your turn.
The Murdoch trial was almost as big as the Johnny Depp trial.
Yeah.
Um, in 2007, several companies, including Boston Market, Barnes& and Noble, Office Max, and others, were victims of a massive computer system hack. While James denied any involvement, he was investigated in connection with the crimes. On May 18th, 2008, James was found dead from a self inflicted gunshot wound. According to his S note, He was bothered by a loss of faith in the justice system and convinced he would be prosecuted for the newer crimes in which he was not involved. Oh, that tells you something wasn't right.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
up
pretty sad. Yeah.
the fact that he took his own life versus like dealing, I guess you'd be terrified if you were a hacker going to jail with the big bad boys, you know?
Yeah. Jensen, James, and Chetta. I think I said that right.
Sounds right to me.
Jensen, James, and Chetta earned the distinction as a first person charged with creating a botnet, or a group of hijacked computers that work together for hacking activities. In 2004, the high school dropout discovered a specialized computer worm that could be used to take over computers remotely to use them for evil.
It's amazing to me that people with such brain power do such stupid things.
Yeah.
He took that worm and spread it roughly 500,000 computers during his hacking career, including United States military computers. And Chetta used these bots to hack into websites with the intention of bringing them down. Oftentimes, he was paid to hack specific sites, having found clients willing to finance his hacking using internet chat sites. So there were people willing to pay. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So they were paying him to hack certain places specifically
Yeah.
for them to benefit from it. Okay.
In 2005, Anchetta was captured after a sting operation set up by the FBI. He was sentenced to 4 felonies, including for fraud and related activities in connection with computers. He was forced to give up a BMW 58,000 he earned hacking and pay 16,000 and serve 60 months in prison.
I mean, he made a good amount of money doing it.
Yeah.
Linda said, "How rude. Hacking Boston Market for free meatloaf dinners? I'm in. Are there any Boston Markets still around? I have not seen one of those in forever."
I used to love going there.
You know what? I think I may have eaten there once. And we had one right down the street from me, but we never ate there.
Really?
Yeah.
The rotisserie chicken was awesome, and the mac and cheese.
I think I liked their mashed potatoes, but I don't really
Mhm.
remember. Kevin Polson. I've heard his name before. Though now the news editor and Wired.com, back in the early 1990s, Kevin Polson was known as the Black Hat Hacker, Dark Dante, also called the Hannibal Lecter of computer crime. Polson specialized in telephone hacking and even got himself a fancy car in the process. In one bold move, he hacked into the phone system of the Los Angeles, California radio station KIIS FM to make sure he was the correct caller to win Porsche. What?
I won.
How? That is mind blowing. He's like sitting there going, okay, if I do this and do that and do that, then I get the Porsche. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
how do you figure that stuff out?
I know.
I can't even do 5 times 8. Okay, wait a minute. No, I know my fives. Let me get this. I can't do 6 times 8. Okay.
Yeah,
There's a song for fives 5, 10, 15, 20. I know the fives. I know I
yeah,
got off track there, but I can't even multiply. How do you get into the system and win a Porsche? The
yeah. To be the
numbers,
correct caller and figure out how to do that, so you're the correct caller.
yeah, the numbers and the like, because when it comes to computers, I don't know. I've been shown a few things on the computer just because like, oh, if you do this, it'll fix that. So somebody will tell me to do that. And they'll pull up this sheet of all these numbers slash letters and all these things. And I'm looking at it going, huh? And then somebody else will look at that and
Mhm.
tell me that's a code. And I'm like, how do you decipher that as a code or
Yeah.
memorize that that's a code? I don't understand that stuff. That's too much.
Paulson also was able to reactivate old phone numbers used by an escort service and hacked into the federal computers for wiretap information. This put him on the FBI wanted list, and he was featured on the television series Unsolved Mysteries. Mysteriously, after his appearance, the TV show's phone number crashed.
The phone's crashed. This is like, yeah, people are going to start calling in and identifying me. Time to crash the phones.
Yep.
Can't call in if the phones aren't working. In 1991, Polson was captured by the FBI. He pleaded guilty to fraud, money laundering, and obstruction of justice and sentenced to serve 51 months in prison plus pay $56,000 in restitution. After his release from prison, Polson reinvented himself as a technology journalist. He even went on to help law enforcement, creating a list of over 700 S offenders on the social networking site MySpace. So he turned it around for good.
Mm-hmm. It's like they
That's
start
good.
out bad and some of them end up doing good in the end, you know?
George, if you're a hacker, couldn't you have gotten a better picture of
Yeah,
yourself,
like,
George?
oh.
Oh, the camera caught me.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's
Somebody hacked in
funny.
and took a picture of George.
Considered the best hacker around by many, George Holt didn't use his computer hacking skills to steal credit card numbers or topple company networks. Instead, Holtz is considered the pioneer of jailbreaking or hacking into the Apple iPhone, as he was the first to do so.
Which
Jeez.
was supposed to be, like, impossible when those phones first came out. It was supposed to be impossible.
Yeah.
Did he get to keep the Porsche? I don't it didn't say they took it away from
Yeah,
him,
it didn't
but I
say.
guess with him starting over and starting that business, he probably could have afforded a Porsche afterwards.
Yeah.
Seems like he might have been nice enough to give it back too. Who knows? I'm gonna think the best about that guy. I think that Polson was all over the news at the time does sound super familiar. Yeah, I think he
Hmm.
was one that because he started working with the police, because his name definitely sounds familiar. So I think he was definitely a hot topic at one point.
Hmm.
Initially, Holtz used a hardware based hack to jailbreak the popular smartphones, chronicling the success on his personal blog. He later created software that would jailbreak iPhones and Apple iPod Touch models using software.
Mm. In the time since, Holtz had continued to release updated jailbreak software for newer versions of the Apple products, as well as hacks to jailbreak popular video game consoles such as the PlayStation 3. Sony was not too impressed with the feat, however, and sued Holtz. The two parties settled out of court.
I guess there really wasn't any laws written at the time saying you can't
Yeah.
jailbreak. You know what I mean? There was really nothing saying he couldn't do that.
Yeah. Like the Fire Sticks, you know how they were doing all that too? Yeah.
Nope, don't know nothing about fire sticks. Nothing about them. Don't ask me about things I know nothing about. Albert Gonzalez. He looks like that one guy that was a serial killer. What was his name?
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
one that stayed at the Cecil Hotel. Richard
Yeah.
Rodriguez, I think was his
Uh-huh.
name.
Yeah. He
He looks like
does.
him.
Yeah.
He's got the like same like right here and then the
Mhm.
hair looks like him.
Of all of the hackers out there, perhaps Albert Gonzalez is the king of them. All have pulled off a massive hack that lasted over 2 years and collected over 170 million credit cards and ATM card numbers. That equals to more than the entire population of Russia.
See, now I think that crop's evil because you're
Yeah,
collecting people's credit card number. You don't know if that person only has $2 in their account and you
yeah.
just like, or if they worked so hard for the $1,000 that was in their account. That's their entire savings for their life and you're stealing it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of crap, then people ain't got insurance to cover it. This guy right here, nasty evil. Yes, he does. Hey, Paradox. Hello and welcome back in today. Gonzalez was also the mastermind behind the Shadow Crew group of hackers that stole 1.5 million credit card numbers, then sold them online along with fraudulent passports, health insurance cards, and birth certificates. As a result, over 4.3 million was stolen from the identity theft victims.
Wow.
You got to think like that's what they know about was stolen. Right? There's probably so much more they didn't know. That's insanity.
And what was recovered? Did any of the poor victims get, their money recovered?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe he was paying money in. Yeah, right. You think he was paying taxes? Doubtful.
Yeah.
They can hack me. Maybe they'll have better luck paying my bills, right?
Right.
No. Um we've had some experiences with people hacking the bank account and I don't know how they got the card number and we had to switch
Mm-hmm.
the card and luckily our banks are now like I think all banks really are so on top of things that
Yeah.
they're freezing accounts even when it's you making purchases now a lot of the time your account's getting frozen and you're having to call in and get it
Mm-hmm.
fixed because banks are being extra cautious, which is nice.
We actually went out to dinner with family. This was before we went full-time traveling. And
Mhm.
we went to a popular restaurant, and you had to hand them your credit card, and they went back and, ran it and came back to us. And shortly after that, Mel got a call from his credit union, and somebody was trying to buy Super Bowl tickets. So we
Mhm.
know exactly where it happened because that was the only time his credit card left his hand. So it's crazy, but I'm glad the banks are on top of it nowadays.
Hippie had a problem like that in Florida. He did the same thing, handed his credit card to somebody to pay at a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the only time his credit card left his hand. And then that person was stupid enough. Y'all ready for this? This is Hippie's story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. That person was stupid enough to take that credit card and go pay his lawyer or his bail bondsman. It was one of the two with that credit card number. So it was easily trackable back to him
Yeah.
because he paid his bail bond slash lawyer. I don't know which one it was. And then the lawyer, when Hippie found out where the charges went to, he called that place and said, "Who gave you this credit card number to pay this?" And then they tracked it back to the criminal that stole his credit card number. It was like, again, people are idiots.
You can't fix stupid.
No, you really can't. But yeah, that was when he was telling me that story, I was like, "Seriously?" But same as you, gave it to it in a restaurant, and I hate that
Yeah.
because now they have the ability to walk over you with the little handheld held thing. You can scan your phone. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of ways you can do it without having to actually use your credit card.
Or you
I will
sometimes
s
have that little computer, that's sitting at the table too, where you pay
Yeah,
for your meal.
and I don't know how many of you have, where you can scan and pay with your phone or like my watch, I can scan and
Mhm.
pay. There's protection like with that. Bulldog has looked into this. I don't remember exactly what he said, but when you scan and pay with certain programs, if someone was to hack it or be able to get into it, you are protected. Like you get the money back because there's some kind of protection on it. So if y'all
Yeah.
have that option, I highly recommend to start paying
Yeah.
with your phone or your watch per versus your card. Seriously, I heard to pick credit option on your debit card because if they steal your info, the bank will try to get the credit money back faster because it's the bank's money. Debit, it's your money. True. I've heard that as well. And that does make sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's also scary because if you've ever noticed, if you hit credit and you hit like the buttons and you don't sign your name, you can get through it without signing. And no one even checks anymore because it's
Yeah.
self-checkout and whatnot. So no one even
They don't
checks to
check
make
your
sure.
signature on the back of the card or any of that.
Mm. So yeah, it seems like hacking has we're opening more doors for
Mm-hmm.
it lately, but
Yeah. Though that was impressive, it was Gonzalez's hacking into other companies that brought him his fame and fortune. He hacked TJX companies, stealing over 45 million credit card numbers and Heartland payment systems, taking another 130 million credit card numbers. 3 federal indictments later, in March of 2010, Gonzalez was sentenced to serve 2 concurrent 20-year sentences in federal prison.
now wait a minute. Paradox, that's the best kind of hack ever. He had $230 in the bank, checked it once, and it jumped up to 23,000 for 24 hours. That's when I would have been at the bank going, I don't know where that came from, but it's mine
Cash,
now.
please.
Your mistake.
I'll take that in cash.
My money. Time to go start a new bank account somewhere else.
Yeah.
So true. They never check credit cards anymore. Mel and Nettie say, "What's up with that?"
It's gone. What's up with that?
I waited and it vanished. That's because you're a true and honest person. I joke, but I would be the
Uh-huh.
same way. Like I I wouldn't be able to take the money.
Yeah.
I joke. Adrian laughed my oh, no, I'm just kidding. His
Right? That's
he's
funny.
kept
I
the
didn't even
initials.
think of that.
Just swap the A and the M, and you've got laugh my A off. But Adrian Lamo. Nice last name, Lamo. I'm sure it's Lamo, but we're gonna call you Lamo, okay?
Lame-o.
With your sultry look. Looking all sultry and I can't
Yeah.
even do it. There is
You
well,
smile too much. You can't like
I mean, okay. Just off subject, but the way he's like looking like all sexy like at the camera, there is no way. I see girls do that all the time when they take selfies and whatnot. There ain't no way I could accomplish that ever. I could never.
I
I'm too
think if
busy.
you just pucker your lips and then squeeze your butt, like you're like maybe you can do it. That's what
Yeah,
I think.
squeeze my butt and pucker my lip. I'm too busy. Like, I'll go to send a picture. My daughter and I do, we Snapchat. That's how we message
Yeah.
each other. And she's always like, send a picture so you can keep your streak. I didn't even know what streaks were, but she's always telling me that. So I'll snap a picture of like up my nostril or my eyes crossed. Like, there is no way I could do that. I can't. Oh, hey. Like, I'm trying right now. Seriously. Hold on. Can't.
You did a little side.
I don't know how people do it. Okay, I'm gonna stop now, but I don't know how people look seriously in a camera like that, and I don't get it. I'm not gonna
We're
understand
gonna
it.
have to practice.
And then post all of the tried pictures.
Yeah. Do a collage.
Do a collage of all the trying to be all sultry and sexy.
Hmm.
Right, I think it's yours. I think.
Okay. Though he was responsible for hacking major companies like the New York Times and Microsoft, Adrian Lamo was not your average computer hacker. He didn't live the life of luxury like many others, and by all accounts, his nickname of the homeless hacker was pretty accurate.
So he didn't have much money and he lived homelessly, huh? But
Yeah.
he sure knew how to.
Strike a pose. Strike a pose.
Lamo would use public internet connections, such as those available at coffee shops and libraries, to exploit security hacks in the systems of major corporations like Yahoo, Bank of America, and Citigroup, while Lamo would tell the companies of their security flaws as he was not paid to find these cracks. Technically, he was hacking.
Let me tell you your flaw, but I just hacked.
Why wouldn't they just, after a certain point, be like, this kid is hacking us left and
Hmm.
right? And I think it's time to hire him. Like, why would
Yeah.
they not just hire him? But I guess that's rewarding bad behavior. But at the same time, if you got somebody that's repeatedly hacking in and telling you how they're getting in, it's time to
Hmm.
hire them.
Yeah. That, however, was not what got Lamo in trouble with the law. His sentence of paying $65,000 in restitution plus 6 months house arrest and 2 years of probation came after he hacked the New York Times and added himself to the list of experts. He may have also stole a few Social Security numbers in the process. Today, Lamo serves as a journalist and a public speaker.
I'm sorry. I started laughing. Now that we've all squeezed our butts, it actually worked. I'm imagining everyone sitting there just squeezing cheeks.
That's funny.
How do you get house arrest if you're homeless?
Right?
They made him stay on the corner of 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue.
I was going to say, stay in your box, but that's kind of wrong.
No, not really. A box is better than just the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you get that. I guess maybe he went back to his parents or something. Kevin
Mm.
Mitnick. He doesn't look like your typical hacker.
Mm-mm.
He exploits or he yeah, exploits sound like something straight out of a movie. His exploits, sorry guys. Okay, sorry. His exploits sound like something straight out of a movie, and in fact, the story of computer hacker Kevin Mitnick has inspired two films as he became what the Department of Justice called the most wanted computer criminal in the United States history.
Wow.
Dun dun dun.
After getting his start by hacking his way into free bus passes, Micknick went on what CNN called a 2.5 year hacking spree that breached numerous computers, broke into the National Defense Warning System, stole corporate secrets, and scrambled phone lines.
So it all started with free bus passes. That man
Yeah.
looked like he could afford his bus pass. He was wearing a fancy suit.
Mm-hmm.
In an odd move, Mitnick also hacked the personal computer of fellow hacker that guy,
Yeah.
which is also how he got caught. Mitnick served 5 years in prison for his crimes and now provides consulting, writing, and speaking services on computer security. So he hacked another hacker, and that hacker was like,
Yeah.
"Bitch, you're
That
going to
hacker.
jail."
Like, I don't think so. And that's true with Hitchup and Toad said War Games. Do you remember that movie? War Games?
Mm-mm.
It was like it was a hacker, and while the computer started going crazy and was going to launch all the missiles and start a war. So
Oh,
that's kind of,
wow.
yeah.
That's crazy. Char of Heart says, I missed your gameplay, but made it for this. Char of Heart, the last game that I played this morning, the last half of it is me and Uncle Lisa playing a new game that we can play together. and I get turned into a tiny doll, and so does Uncle Lisa. It's pretty funny.
I
And that
gotta
will
go
be the
back and
new
see that. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be the new Sunday live game that, Uncle Lisa and I play. We'll both be playing on screen together for that one. RVBFE said, "Yes, good movie." Ooh, watched it 2 or 3 times as a kid.
Robert Tappan Morris. Tappan.
Tapon.
He looks happy.
He looks like a computer guy.
Mhm. Son of the late Robert Morris, who co authored Unix and served as a chief scientist at the National Computer Security Center. Robert Tappan Morris created the first computer worm and was the first person convicted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Guess it had to start somewhere, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, they had to start somewhere so that they could
Hmm.
actually start, like, putting Dollywood. While studying at Cornell University, Morris created the Morris worm with the intent to measure the size of the internet. This, however, didn't really work as planned and actually ended up disrupting the many computers it infected, with losses estimated as much as $53,000 per
Per
company.
company. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Hey, Roy and Becky. I'm sorry.
Hey.
I owe you guys an apology because I have not been by in a while. I've had a lot going on. I'm really sorry. But I'm so glad to see you guys in
Mm-hmm.
here. Hello. Actually, I owe everybody one moment. I owe everybody an apology. I've not watched much YouTube lately, which means I have not supported y'all's content, and I apologize. I just had a lot going on, but I'm making my rounds back
Yeah.
around again. So I'll
And
be
I
there.
want to say it's all right, BB, because you need to take care of you first. This is Mama talking. You've been sick. We've posted it, and we all understand. We all are here to support one another, and your health is more important than YouTube. Just saying. We want
Well,
you here a long time, and I love you.
I appreciate that. I love you
Mhm.
too. I do like get on here and play the games and that keeps me awake. But when I
Mhm.
try to watch like videos and stuff, I end up falling asleep. Just because that's part of what got going on is this exhaustion. And so then I don't like I'm not getting the content. So I want to watch it and I will watch it. Just
Mhm.
I haven't made it around lately and I apologize. But thank you for saying that. It's super sweet. We accept your apology, Thumbelina. Hello, Cindy. Welcome. Look at Cindy's profile picture.
Oh, that's adorable.
I want to pet. Okay. It's all good. We totally understand. YouTube will always be here. Thank
Mhm.
you. You hit me up pretty recent beforehand. I just like to see everyone a couple months or so apart. Yeah, it takes me a while to get around to everybody, but yeah, I do try. I do try. So I just don't think I've forgotten anybody is kind of what I wanted to say. I haven't forgotten anybody.
Did we reach the last one that you just went through? It
I
didn't
think s-
seem. Let me
I
see.
think so. Let me go back. Yeah, the $53,000 per
Oh, yeah.
company.
Okay. Okay. Using the fancy new Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, Morris was prosecuted for gaining access and causing damage to federal computers. He served 3 years of probation, performed community service, and paid restitution. Now, Morris serves as a tenured professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane to go from one thing to like that's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Paradox, honey and collagen ice cream shakes more energy. I put in here, I have protein and collagen, and I'll add honey in because if honey is going to help, I will definitely add it in. Right now, I'm just going through, my heart rate is dropping to like the 20s, 30s. And so it's just tanking my energy. But I am trying the
Yeah.
protein and collagen and all of that. And it has helped me in the past with energy for sure. So that is great advice to anyone needing energy. We've also been
Hmm.
disappeared for a couple months. Health issues have their own time frame, baby. Well, my
Yeah.
prayers go out to you for the things you've been dealing with.
And they actually went live just the other day. If anybody wanted to go check that out, I was so happy that I saw their notification, and Don and Bear posted what's been going on with them. If anybody wants to go check that out, I would highly recommend it. But I'm glad you're doing so much better, Don. You've been in my prayer. I'm sorry, Bear. You've been in my prayers and BB's as well. Don came in on her
Mhm.
live stream, and we all prayed that you would get better soon. So he's on
Yeah,
recovery. He's recovering. So
that is great news to hear. And
mhm.
definitely, if one of the mods can grab a link to that live stream and drop it, so we can all get the updates.
Yeah.
Um, Paradox says honey does help. I will add that in for sure. Hello, Larice Jose, my
Hey.
beautiful friend. Thank you for being here as always. If y'all don't have Larice, you need to grab her. I say that all the time.
Hmm.
Super supportive. RV, BFE, I think most of us are disabled, health issues, or physically. Yeah, I think a lot of us, we all go through something at some point in our life, right? We're all struggling
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point. I've started drinking water even though thirsty.
Got a lot of
I
minerals in it.
never I never thought I would be able to drink water, but that is all I drink all day long, except for
Yeah.
these protein things that I drink. But I drink it with skinny syrup vanilla in it
Yeah.
and orange flavoring, and it makes an orange sickle taste, and it's good.
I remember the Dr. Pepper days, BB.
Oh, that's all I drank. That's all I used to drink
Yeah.
all the time. I don't drink it. I can't tell you the last time I had a soda or even a sip of one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. So grateful for all the prayers.
Hmm.
All right. So we read this one.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Owen Walker. Is it your turn to read? Yeah,
No,
it's your turn.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Self taught after he was homeschooled, Owen Walker, also known as Akil online, led an international hacking group that caused over 26 million in damages. The teen did this all from his home country of New Zealand before his 18th birthday.
Oh, another
Wow.
another one that's a kid doing damage.
I'm going to grab my phone real quick. Hope I don't get bumped off. Let's see.
Walker created the Akbot computer virus that was spread by internet relay chat channels into more than 1.3 million computers across the world. That same bug went on to crash computers at the University of Pennsylvania, which ultimately led to his arrest and capture by a joint investigation between New Zealand police and the FBI. I do have a story about hackers to tell you when we're done. And I've been debating on whether or not I should share this entire time
Yeah.
because I had gotten away from said people following me that I'm afraid talking about it might bring said people back. But I'm going to share the story, I think.
I'm just grabbing the link to their live. Got
Oh,
it.
okay. Minerals are in the fish body water. Good for us. PSV, hello and welcome. Good morning, 12 amazing people in the stream. Thanks for supporting BB3. God bless everyone, said Larice. See why you need to be following her?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nettie, for sharing. I'm here. I'm still searching for that embroidery needle that went flying yesterday. Oh,
Oh,
goodness. All right. I think this one's yours.
okay. The Walker admitted to the hacking crimes and was charged in April of 2008. He was released without being convicted. The judge ruled that his actions were not based on criminal motives, and a conviction would do more harm to Walker's future than it would do good. So today, Walker works for a subsidiary of Australian telecommunication company Telstra in their security division. Oh, so he got a good career out of it.
So he got a good career out of it too. So anchovy pizza is good for you. I don't care how good it is. I
Yeah.
am not eating anchovies.
Mm-mm.
That's great to the people that love them, but it ain't
Yeah.
going in my mouth.
If you tried it, maybe you'll get the pose. You could get that model pose, BB.
That model seductive look. Gary McKinnon. Using the online handle of Solo, Scottish hacker Gary McKinnon masterminded what was called the biggest military computer hack of all time. He allegedly hacked into 97 United States Armed Forces and
Um,
NASA computers in 2001 and 2002. McKinnon claims he was looking for evidence of free energy suppression and a cover up of UFO activity, but did much more than looking during his time in the files. Okay. While we're speaking of UFOs, does anyone else put this in the chat if you know your answer to this? Does anyone else think it is extremely strange? Now, I don't want to go political here, but extremely strange that the government was always like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no UFOs. There's no aliens. We have no nothing like that. What are you talking about? Even with Area 51, they were like,
yeah.
that stuff's not on here. It's just a private military base. And then all of the sudden, on the news, the government's talking about aliens that they found and discovered. Does anybody else think that's weird? That it's just like, not, oh, we've known about it and we're now admitting it. They just all of a sudden started talking about that. I just want to know if anybody else thinks that's weird and believes that aliens
Yeah.
exist.
I
'Cause
believe they exist, but I think it is weird since they were so hush hush about it, and now they're not.
that
That just
scares me that they were
yeah,
so hush hush about it. And now they're just like, oh, yeah, by the way, we found other beings. Like, what?
yeah.
We're just suddenly admitting and talking about it. And you're just not, like talking about it like if you're talking about the sky's blue.
Uncle Lisa, you're bad.
I didn't believe in aliens until I met Phoebe. Shh, stop telling my secret, Uncle Lisa. Nothing shocks me with the government. There was a Washington, D.C. full sky cover of UFOs before they admitted it while still trying to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
Look up giants found in Nevada or Utah. Wow.
I may
Yeah.
have to grab a story.
Yeah. I think we should do an alien story. There's a
Yeah.
country singer that he's painted art all the time and it ends up being UFOs he paints, but he also has like a footage of something out in and he lives out in the country. And so he has footage of something and he says he was taken by aliens and people think he's nuts, but he's like, I just know. I just know
Well,
I was.
with us doing the Men in Black, I think they are. They're just too freaking creepy looking.
Yeah. I'm going for a short walk, sunset in Missouri. Enjoy your walk.
Yeah.
Now they're like, well, if your sky neighbors come on by, oh well, right? Now it's just like no big deal. Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
know if anybody else thought that
Yeah.
was crazy.
I think it's your turn.
Okay. McKinnon is accused of deleting critical files such as those that led to the crash of the U.S. Army's Military District of Washington network of computers, deleting U.S. Navy weapons logs, copying files, stealing passwords, and even leaving notes in the files mentioning government sponsored terrorism.
Wow. A federal grand jury in Virginia indicted McKinnon on several counts of hacking crimes in November of 2002. He didn't go quietly, though, as in the years since he used the court system in England to fight extradition to the United States to stand trial for the crimes.
That was it.
That was it. Pretty
I
fascinating, huh?
Yeah, that is craziness. Like,
Yeah,
I like that some of them went on to do good things with it, though. Like, it's not all bad. Like, some of them did good things.
yeah.
I knew they were talking about the UAP, but hadn't heard them mention actual entities. But the government keeps us in the dark about anything that could upset the consumer money machine. I agree. Yeah, they've talked about findings now, which is just like, what? And with such like they just came on and was speaking to the press with just like it was an everyday conversation. But how do you go from it doesn't exist to this is an everyday conversation and we know all of this stuff? It just
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to tell a quick story and then we're going to talk about Dylan Rounds and do a little tiny update on Dylan Rounds. So, Shaco's not currently in here, but many of you have met our friend Shaco. And he comes from back in the day when I was a moderator on a larger YouTube channel. And there was a pretty decent group a decent sized group of people that followed this creator and they did not like him because he was not a good person. Let's just say that. Like it turned out he was not such a great person. He was doing things that weren't so great. Um with that being said, because I was a moderator, these people were like, "Oh, you're going to like moderate for this bad guy, like we're going to give you trouble now." So they would would give me quite a bit of trouble. I ended up separating myself from that creator and eventually ended up putting out content of my own. And this group of people came to a live stream, and that live stream still exists on my channel. It's way back. But this group of people, man, they laid into me and they really tried to get under my skin, but they didn't. And we ended up kind of coming to like this mutual, I think,
Mm-hmm.
mutual respect slash agreement where they were going to be nice to me. But what was terrifying at the time was this group of people was known for hacking. Like there was one of them that lived in another country and the police had already been trying to find him and newspaper articles had been written on him and all of the things that he had managed to hack and do. And he just sat back and like drank beer and did drugs and laughed about the fact that people were trying to find him. Like there was no way people were going to find him in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so several of these people that were in that live stream were like him. And so imagine how terrified simple old me was to have this group of people following me
Yeah.
around and wanting to know what I was up to. I was terrified. Um, but it turns out like I guess I handled the situation with them
Mm-hmm.
okay and proved myself to not be bad. So like they're not around messing with me or anything. But um I don't think they were bad people, much like this story that we
Mm-hmm.
just did. I don't think many of them were bad. Maybe there was some of them that were bad. Maybe there are some of them were good. I think they were just people that were lonely or people that found this fun to do or whatever. But I always looked at that and thought, wow, they're so smart to be able to do all of this
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I had hoped that, they would do something good with it. So to read a story like this and find out that a lot of those people that were like the main hackers went on to do
Mm-hmm.
good things, I find that really like inspiring. And I don't know where a lot of those people are now because this was years ago that happened to me.
Yeah.
I only know where Shaco is. He's still around.
Yeah. He's
Um,
still around.
but I really hope that good things happened for them. Um, Paradox said online. It has been called that, yeah.
Hmm.
They tended to send pizzas and police and whatnot to this creator's door, that was not a good guy. But is it kind of like the uh oh, what is that childhood story? Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Um,
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. So they weren't stealing money, but were they doing something bad to someone bad that deserved it? I mean, when you look at it from all angles,
They're
were
probably
they?
like testing the waters too with you, and then they realize, like you were saying, you weren't letting it get under your skin and realize, to back off and like, Shaco does come around, but Shaco isn't like he was back then, so
Well,
he's still, you
and
know,
I think that like I said, the majority of them were good. They were
yeah,
just doing something that like I said, that this guy was not that good. They were doing things not so good to this guy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah,
like, does the means justify the action? If these hackers that we just covered this story on were stealing money and giving it to homeless people, would the means justify the
right,
action? So
yeah,
I don't think that bad things are necessarily the right way to go. But I could see why they were doing some of the stuff that they were doing,
yeah,
and I don't think that they had bad hearts or that they were like bad people, if that's
hmm,
makes sense. But I met a group of very talented individuals. And Shaco, I don't think he was necessarily one of the people that
yeah,
were doing that with the computer. He just was part of that kind of time back then. And yeah, he was a bit scary to begin with, but he's pretty decent now. We just
yeah,
have to keep him in check every once in a while. And he's probably out there listening right now
yeah.
being like, what's
I
she
think
gonna
so.
say?
I think
What's she
so.
gonna say? um yeah, group mindset. Yeah. Well,
Uh-huh.
maybe someday I'll tell the story about the guy that I modded for his channel. But I've not talked about him since I left because I just said, I'm not doing this drama. Like, I'm just not. He's drama. I'm not doing it. So, but maybe someday I'll tell that story.
Yeah.
Um, but more importantly, um,
Dylan.
somebody didn't like the fact wouldn't sell my car for his price once and sent my phone number into oblivion. Oh, paradox. That's terrible. That's terrible. I kind of have an ex that does that with my mail, my phone number, everything. I get it. I understand. And it's a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Dylan Rounds. Nettie, do you want to talk about what you know? And then I'll tell kind of the charges, or do you want me to do it? It's up to
Yeah,
you.
go ahead and do it because I just watched a 3-minute video today on it, and I think you may have more than what I've seen. So
Okay.
if you don't mind doing the update.
Char of Hearts watched my short where I said I want to be a marshmallow. So she said, I just want to be a marshmallow and wobble for joy. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. Just, I
Hmm.
want to be a marshmallow and wobble around for joy, or wrap me up in a blanket and let me be a burrito. I'm pretty simple. You had to get a new phone number. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks. I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, so Dylan Rounds, just to give you guys a catch up on who Dylan was, we covered a story on him, the young kid. I think he was 19.
19. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty young, and he had started his own farm and was farming it and growing stuff on land that was really hard to grow on. So real responsible kid, and we covered how he went missing and how they thought James Brenner was probably responsible. Most people thought he was responsible, as he was kind of the one that was around and all things
Hmm.
pointed to him. But Dylan's body was not found. They couldn't locate Dylan's body. So that was kind of where we left off with Dylan's story. Well, it just came out that James Brenner, the key suspect since the beginning, was arrested. James Brenner is originally from North Dakota, but he's now being charged with one count of aggravated murder, which is a first-degree felony in Utah, and then one count of abuse or desecration of a human body, which is a third-degree felony. So they've arrested James. They've definitely made the arrest. I'm going to put out a video, kind of a short video, just telling you what the court documents say, because there's a lot of court documents. But I will kind of put that into a shorter form and let you know why they were able to arrest him, because the court documents are going to have that information in it.
Now, at the time he was in jail, do you know if he ever got out and then they just rearrested him, or was he still there?
I don't know that yet. I
Yeah.
hadn't gotten that far into my research. I just know that these are the charges that they were able to put on
Put
him.
on him. Yeah.
I'm hoping, like Nettie and I were talking before we went live, that I don't know what the family wants, whether they want like Dylan's body or whether they're more leaning towards give him as harsh of a sentence as possible. But my guess, since Dylan's body is still missing,
Mm-hmm.
is that they're going to have to strike up a deal in order to get Dylan's body back. And that's if James Brenner is even willing to like strike a deal to tell them, because then that would mean he
Yeah.
would have to admit that he did it. So we don't know if he's going to admit that he did it. We don't know if he's going to try to make a deal so he gets less time. We don't know any of that.
And what I
But
seen with his mom this morning, she was saying she doesn't think it was premeditated. She thinks it's
mm,
just something that happened, and
and she was saying
she,
that kind
yeah,
of from the
from the
beginning.
get go, yeah,
She was saying that she thought that James Brenner might have been under the influence of alcohol and
yeah,
gotten mad when, Dylan came to put the grain away, and it just ended up being a fight that got out of hand,
yeah, yeah,
which it still doesn't make it any better. If you can fight somebody and take their life, like you deserve to be. Yes, this is the guy that his
yeah,
mom would collect his boots. So every time Dylan would buy a new set of boots, he gave his mom his old boots and she would put them by the
mm-hmm,
fireplace. So she had all of his boots.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is the guy who disappeared without his only pair of shoes. Really,
And he wasn't a big guy, he was fairly thin, and Brenner was a pretty big dude, so
well, and the beginning of the story tells you, well, if you went back and watched our other video, it would tell you
yeah,
that like he called his grandma and he said he was on the phone with her and the rain started to
mhm,
come and he had to put his grain truck away. Well, putting that away would have put him on the property where James Brenner was at. And then on top of that, like James Brenner's cell phone pinged over by the water, or was it Dylan's cell phone? One of their cell phones.
yeah,
Dylan's cell phone pinged over by this water. That's the last place it pinged. And it pinged about the same time that James Brenner had told his story that he was going through that area to go to his friend's house. So, like, there was so many clues pointing to James Brenner from the very
mhm.
beginning. Um,
Well, he had his
and
boots, remember? And then also his hat. Had a
yeah,
picture of his hat
he was
on.
walking around
Yeah,
wearing Dylan's hat. Well, everybody was saying it was Dylan's hat, and then other people were like, "It's a common hat." And it's like, "Yeah, but how common is it that the guy
yeah,
you think killed him is walking
was
around wearing
wearing
a
it.
hat?" And
Yeah,
then somebody that
yeah.
lived close to there, which nobody lives close to there. Nobody, because it's like everybody in
Nowhere,
that
out in
area
the middle of
lives
nowhere.
out in
Yeah,
the middle of nowhere, but somebody that lived close to there, um, suddenly his keys were put back into his trailer, his gun, which neither one of
mhm,
those were there, and then all of a sudden they were there. The favorite boots that are being mentioned in the comment section, those were put over behind a dirt pile out in the middle
yeah,
of the field, and Dylan just didn't own any other shoes. Those boots were the shoes that he wear. I mean, maybe he had one pair, but he didn't wear anything other than the boots, is what his parents said. So,
Yeah.
but we'll find out more
Mhm.
when I do that video and read the court documents as to why they were able to finally like make the arrest.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he was out when they arrested him or if he was already in jail being held
In
on other
jail.
charges. That's right. The guy left his boots. Now I remember. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Looking
had
forward to
some
the update.
forum type websites in the mid 90s and they would attack in packs, constantly changing their IP addresses. It was like a war sometimes to get them off your site.
Mhm.
See, and now, like back then, changing IP addresses would require so much like knowledge, right? But now they
Yeah.
have programs that you put on your computer, like Surfshark or there's all kinds of them where you can change your location on your computer so that if someone hacks into you, they don't know where you're located. I don't know. There's so many things that I'm just like
Yeah.
mind blown.
Yeah.
Those boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Boom, bada, boom, bada, boom.
I had I had to finish it. You put it in my head. I had to finish it out. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Nettie, for
Yeah.
putting this story together. It was really, really good.
Mhm.
I found it real interesting, and everybody come back and comment on the video if you want me to share the story about that creator I used to mod for, and if you do, I'll share the story.
Yeah.
Um, but with that being said, thank you all for joining us and commenting
Mhm.
and being so supportive. We appreciate it. And as always, if you have a story you want us to cover, whether it be spooky or true crime or
Yeah.
whatever, you can always email Nettie or
Mhm.
me or just leave a comment and we will check it out.
Yep.
So, with that being said, wishing you much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way. Good night.
Bye, everybody.